What's up, everybody? This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I really want to talk about Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Alfredo El Perro Angulo. This fight is exciting. This is probably going to be one of the most exciting fights this year, other than Timothy Bradley and Manny Pacquiao. I can't wait for that rematch to happen, but other than that, there's this fight, and that's it so far. I am not looking forward to Mayweather fighting Khan, but I'm sure there'll be some people that'll really want to see that fight, but not me. Definitely not paying for that shit. Anyways, let's focus on Angulo and Canelo. This is probably one of the easiest fights to break down, but the most difficult fight to predict. You cannot predict what's going to happen in this ring, especially with a fighter like Angulo, but you can break down both of these fighters and try to make an estimated guess on what may happen in the ring. So let me break down both of these fighters. You got Saul Canelo Alvarez, who's really young. One of the biggest criticisms, and I'll start off with the negatives. One of the biggest criticisms that he's had is his work rate. The fact that he fights in spots, and mainly they attribute that to his, bad conditioning. That's what they say. They say he's got really bad conditioning. Now, one of the things, I don't know if it's bad conditioning or if it's just the fact that he sits on his punches. And, when you go down there and you try to sit, if you step into the ring and you try to sit on your punches, 50% of the time, and you're throwing a 4-5 punch combination, it takes a lot out of you. And you do need time to recover. As far as this helping, I don't see him trying to outbox Angulo. Canelo Alvarez does have, different styles that he steps into the ring with. He's a completely different fighter against Floyd Mayweather than he was against Gomez, or when he fought Alfonso Gomez, or when he fought a fighter like Josecito Lopez. These are fighters that he knew he could connect with on every punch. So there was less boxing and more fighting, which is kind of what I expect in this fight. I kind of expect him to go in there and really put on a show. So he's going to be a lot more offensive. The great thing with fighting Angulo is that Angulo is not really conscious about his defense. He's willing to risk losing by knockout by trying. He's willing to risk losing by knockout because he's trying to win by knockout himself. So you got someone like Angulo who really opens himself up and doesn't cover up very well. He doesn't really move away from his punches, and he'll stay in the pocket even though he'll be receiving damage. Canelo, the bad part about Canelo, where this may affect him in the fight, is if his conditioning has not improved. A fighter like Angulo, who takes a lot of punishment and he's a very durable fighter. Someone like Angulo might push him to fight all 12 rounds at a high pace. And when you're fighting all 12 rounds at a high pace, things can get shaky when you have a fighter that has horrible conditioning. So this will really show us, not just, I think that there's going to be a lot of things tested in this fight. You're going to see Canelo's chin being tested. You're going to see Canelo's conditioning tested. You're going to see Canelo's offense, his power. That'll be tested. So for those of you who think that this is just a landslide victory for Canelo, I don't see it that way. I think that this is a fight that they can't look past because Angulo has a lot of advantages. They may not be technical advantages, and sometimes technical advantages don't help you win the fight every time. In my opinion, I do see Canelo as the more technical, more well-rounded boxer in the that's going to be stepping into the ring that night. Um, let's look at his advantages. His advantages, obviously, he's much faster. He's very good on defense. So when you have someone like Austin Trout, who's an intelligent boxer but was still unable to hit Canelo, if Canelo does get on the defensive, he will be able to avoid the majority of Angulo's punches. Mainly because Angulo is not just slower. I mean, compared to Trout, Trout moves at light speed. You know, if you were to compare Trout and Angulo, uh, if you were to compare them both, Trout moves at the speed of light. So if Canelo can avoid Trout's punches, I'm sure he's not going to have much trouble seeing these punches coming from Angulo and seeing them coming a mile away. So one of the things that I do see that is going to take place would be, you're going to see a lot of counter punching from Canelo. Canelo is going to be able to use that and really make a highlight reel out of this fight. Now let's talk about Angulo. Angulo has quite a few advantages himself, like I have mentioned before. He's a come forward fighter, and he does risk a lot by trying to come in and fight face first, and is willing to take punches to land a few of his own. Now, the reason why this is dangerous is because it's very dangerous when you have a fighter that's very durable, like Angulo. I don't know exactly how Angulo's. I don't know exactly which bone on his forehead, which one was exactly the one that broke, but I wonder if he's if he's subject to another fracture in this fight. I would want to hopefully I would want to see this fight end cleanly. I don't want any kind of weird injury happening in this fight, so hopefully that holds up. But other than that, let's take that out of the equation. Angulo is very, very durable. One of the things that I see in Angulo is even before he started training with his new trainer, Andre Ward's trainer. I forgot his name. I just had a brain fart. But anyways, it'll jump back in my head. Even before he started training with him, he was already really good at cutting off the ring. Actually, that probably was his best attribute, the fact that he's able to cut off the ring. But in this fight, I think he's going to need a little bit more than just cutting off the ring on Canelo. I think he's going to need to be able to move and fight off his back foot himself. Difference is that Canelo can come forward as well. And if he comes in too strong, Canelo will easily be able to counterpunch him. And you might see Angulo go to sleep. So in my opinion, I think they're fully aware of this. And they're going to need to have Angulo be able to fight off the ropes. He's going to need to be able to fight moving backwards. He's going to need to be able to fight off his back foot. He's going to have to do this. He can't just come forward and fight Canelo one-dimensional the way he's been fighting other fighters, because Canelo can adjust. That's the difference. And I think that I know that this is kind of a one-sided victory. You might see this as, because I do. I think Canelo's going to win this, and he'll win this fairly easily. But there are certain things that Angulo brings to the table that can definitely make this a very difficult fight. And it'll make it a very difficult fight throughout the entire fight. I mean, Angulo's power can change everything. Again, Angulo's work rate can change everything. If Canelo does not have the conditioning that he needs to survive all 12 rounds, Angulo can really, really cause damage at the end of the fight. in the championship rounds. So this is a very dangerous fight for Canelo, being a young fighter who hasn't really fought too much competition at 154. Um, so again, Angulo. Angulo is a come forward fighter. He closes off the ring very well. Um, he's he's obviously not the most technical. He isn't the most technical, but he is very, very determined to try to make a name for himself in closing off his career. I mean, one thing about Angulo is that I really like is he's pretty modest, except when he steps into the ring. I think he knows the type of power he carries. He doesn't have that one punch knockout. Um, he's not like a Erislandy Lara. Erislandy Lara can change the game in one punch. Um, Angulo has more of the heavy hand, the kind of punch that can toss you off balance, that will move you and rock you. I think that if you end up having someone like Angulo in front of you, you have to constantly be moving, because if you don't, you'll have this fighter who is very heavy, especially with his punches. You'll have this fighter that can knock you off your feet, even though it's not you're not knocked out. It's not that type of punch that wobbles your legs. He can still score the knockdown. That's the crazy part about it. He can still score the knockdown. There's the, like, for example, there's the type of punch that Erislandy Lara landed on Austin Trout. And you saw when Austin Trout got back up, his legs weren't completely there. Um, Same way when Adrian Broner first got knocked down. His legs weren't completely there, and you can tell they were gone for the next couple rounds. But Angulo will rock you. He'll knock you down. But it's not that brain-shattering punch. It's more of a punch that just knocks you off balance, which is why you fell. Um, it has that power, and it's very dangerous, especially when there's a fight that could come down to a round or two. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes down to a close, if it ends up being a close fight, a knockdown like that can definitely sway the judges, can really change the scoring. So this is why it's very dangerous to fight a fighter like Angulo. Um, now going back to the trainer, Virgil Hunter, that's his trainer. That I don't know why it slipped out of my head, but Virgil Hunter has been taking a lot of credit for teaching or showing Angulo how to close off the ring, which is, in my opinion, I always thought that was Angulo's best attribute. Um, but like I said, I think Virgil Hunter is going to need to teach other things now to Angulo, because that's not going to work against Saul Canelo Alvarez, who can fight moving backwards, can fight moving forward, and is a great counterpuncher. And if you just take if you look at his record, considering that they're taking Floyd Mayweather's fight out of the equation, he's a very accurate puncher, a very accurate puncher. So you are going to have to get somehow Angulo to move his head. You're going to need to get him to move out of the way, and you're going to need to get him to fight backwards. So this is Aztec 101 in the ring. I have Canelo winning. I think that with all everything being said and done, Angulo obviously holds the puncher's chance, but he's not. I don't think he's going to pull it off in this fight. This just seems to be a great fight where there's a lot of danger involved, but the safety net is Angulo's lack of skill. That's the safety net. is, yeah, he's very dangerous. Yes, he's a heavy hitter, but his skill, the lack of skill, is the safety net. And hopefully, in my opinion, I hope Canelo destroys Angulo and then gets a fight with Lara. So we'll see what happens. This is Aztec 101 in the ring. You guys let me know, who do you got winning this fight? Angulo or Canelo? This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.